How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Hope everyone's having a great day. Gotta say, this is probably the last video for me of this year, so man, welcome. Hope everyone's having a great day. Oh man, what a month, what a month. I gotta say, I think this has probably been the worst month of the whole year combined. All 11 months don't add up to this last month. But that's alright, the year's over. Time for a new year, a new month, and a new start. Alright, so if you're watching the repost, make sure to leave comments, let me know how it's going, how you're doing, how your year went, some of the ups, some of the downs, what's going on. So, if you're here because of the title, the whole YouTube thing, I'll get into that, but I got quite a few other things to get into too. Oh man, I think everything actually went pretty good. I actually got a new boom mic. It's up here. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, see? New boom mic. So, hopefully, the audio should be better. I'm hoping it's better. And I can actually talk away and do anything, and I don't have to worry about hitting the mic up here. So, fingers crossed. Whew. Man, I'll tell you. December is always, well, for the last, 4 years or so, December's been a real bad month for me because, let's see, it first started out with my heart surgery. I got out of the hospital like December 11th. A year to the day, December 11th, my mom had her stroke the next year. And then last December, she got put on hospice, which, she didn't get better, but hospice dropped her because they didn't feel like dealing with her anymore. But I digress. So, honestly, for this month, if you guys have been watching my videos and all that, having the VFD go bad was a blessing. What's up, Stalking Wolf? What's up, John? Chip? Man, one thing I gotta thank, you guys that are always here, I really appreciate it, Without you guys, this live stream would be almost pointless, and I would really almost give up. So knowing you guys are here every week, man, it means the world. So I can't thank you enough. Does the audio sound better? Hopefully it does. I mean, I went over it, so it should sound a lot better. Oh, man. So, phew, man, I got a lot of plans for next year. I've got like a beginner course. I've got some 01 and some 1084. So I got a test that I want to do with 01 because I see on all the forums that people are like, oh, you can't just heat treat 01 with a torch or whatever. It has to be done in a kiln and an oven and all that. So since I got both ways of doing it, I'm going to try it out. I want to finish building the second heat treat oven. I want to do some basic 1084 heat treating and building, and maybe how to grind knives as a beginner. A lot of my videos are all on how to grind, but I realize a lot of those grinds are complicated grinds. So, yeah, I gotta kind of step back to the basics and show you all what needs to be done. I got to remember, as I progress, there's other people starting out. So sometimes I got to step back and help those that are starting out. Because that was the whole reason I got into YouTube. Because, I learned how to make knives off YouTube. And I would type in something I'd need to learn, and there were no videos about it. And I was like, wow, when I get good enough that I can actually show people what to do, I want to make those videos. But that's how I got into the swooping plunges and the compound grinds and the recurves, because no one else was doing those videos. And the thing is, there's a lot of videos on knife making, but most of them are like guys that don't say anything, and they just, it's all high speed, just cut. And, you don't know what you're doing. You're just watching them through their process, which is a fun video and all that, but if they don't explain what they're doing, how do you know? Now there are people like, there's a lot of enthusiast knife makers that will sit there and watch people grinding and grinding. Me, I love watching those videos. But that's a small percentage. A lot of guys that look for knife making videos are guys that are starting out or they're stuck on something. So that's where I thrive, because I love helping people learn. Because, man, it's like my way to pay back all the people that helped me learn on YouTube. Whew. I've been running around. Actually, everything seems to be going good today. So, on time, everything. Maybe this whole thing will end on a good note. Excuse me. I didn't even set up the second camera and all that, because I figured since this is the last video of the year and all that, that I'll just do a one-on-one, tell you how much I appreciate you guys, and maybe give some of my insights that I've learned. Working with just files. See, if you're working with just files, you actually have a step up. It's like a drummer that starts out on a double bass drum or whatever. You know, when you start out on the top tier, you're kind of at a disadvantage. But when you learn with files and learn the whole process, like with grinders, disc grinders or angle grinders and all that, you learn the whole in and outs of making the knives. Where I just jumped in right with the grinder, so when it comes to things that I have to do with like a file and all that, I get lazy and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it, because I didn't teach myself how to do stuff with a file. I mean, I know how to use a file, but it's hard to explain. It's like I'm up on this level, so I don't want to step back down to work on it, because I know the fast ways. But the fast ways aren't always the best ways. Sometimes you need to pull out a file and do some finishing work, or pull out, hand tools to make it precision work. And that's a step I miss a lot. That's why a lot of times you don't see me finishing knives, because I'm so into the big grinders, the heavy work and all that, that when it comes to the light work, it's so tedious that it's like I have to relearn it, or I have to actually learn it. Is actually more the statement, because I never learned it. I skipped that part. So learning files, selling knives, put your money back into your product, and you can get a grinder. You can get whatever. Even if you have to go on like eBay, or not eBay, if you have to go on like Craigslist and find secondhand tools, you can step up. I see a lot of guys using 1x30 grinders, and they make them awesome stuff. Look at Workshop of Death, his channel. He does everything on a 1x30, and it looks pretty sweet. Yeah, see, that's what I said too, Stocky. We'll get a 1x30. I have a 1x30, and I used it for about a month, and then I went and my mom was like, you can go to welding school, which is about $1,000, or you can get a grinder. So I got the grinder. She had been saying, it was like kind of like this was before she had the stroke and all that. It was like right after I had my heart surgery. She kind of put away some money, and she's like, yeah, you have this choice. And I love welding, but man, I wanted to make knives, so I went that route. Yeah, it's definitely like sculpting with steel. The better you get, the more tools you get, and the better, it's a progression. I kind of skipped all that parts, and that's why I have a lot of problems with some of these things. I spent so much time doing bevels. I had a big hard time with bevels at first. So I spent like a year just perfecting bevels, getting bevels exactly so I knew whenever I put this amount of pressure or whatever, I could get it perfect. But I left out a lot of things, which now I'm trying to catch up and learn. Like, that's why on the live stream you see me hand sanding. Because I never really learned hand sanding, because I didn't like doing it. I like all the fast stuff. Fast-paced stuff. So, but anyway, one big thing I've learned about YouTube and, watching other people making videos and stuff. I was trying to improve my content, so I'd watch guys like Gary Vee, Casey Neistat, you know, Peter McKinnon. You know, Peter McKinnon mainly so I can learn photography and videography and learn how to get the best content for you guys, you know, look-wise. And I fell into the trap of thinking, wow, these guys do it easy. Man, I can do that. Because I've always kind of had this philosophy where if I see someone do it, I can do it too. But that's not the truth, you know. If you put it into practice and work hard at it, yes, you can do it if someone else can do it. But like Gary Vee, you know, he's telling everyone to go out and sell this and do this and work this way and do this way. But he's an extrovert. He has that built in. He's very extroverted. Me, I'm a very introverted person. And when I tried to live up to what he is, it was very counterproductive. And it was like hurting me, like physically, mentally, and just trying to be someone I wasn't. And I realized, man, you know, I got so caught up in trying to be that person I'm watching that I was losing focus on who I was and losing the fact that that's not who I am. Now, it's still great to watch these guys and get inspiration because, man, if you want any inspiration, watch Casey Neistat, watch Gary Vee. They're very, you know, work-oriented and, you know, driven and, man, and I work hard and I do a lot of things very hard and, you know, I sleep like 5 hours a day, but I'm not used to this time management thing where you have to go boom, 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 boom. Next day, wake up, boom, 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 you know, and it was very disorienting trying to make myself that way. You know, okay, I wake up at 5 or 6, which I do anyway, but then I get right to editing. Or I get right to music, and then I go from that to something else, then I come down here and I make knives, and then I take a break, you know, and I can't live up to that. That's not how I go, you know. I had to pace myself and learn my style of making, or my style of doing things. Now, it's great to learn and take some of their pointers and inspiration and apply them to your personality or your traits. That's how you improve. That's how you learn. Which brings me to the YouTube thing. Hey, what's up, Richard? Which brings me to the YouTube thing. I've been studying YouTube and how to make better content for, you know, like the last year. And I'm no expert. Now, let me make that straight. I'm not an expert when it comes to YouTube, but I have learned quite a bit of things. One thing I see a lot of people do is they're like, oh, I'll do daily vlogs. I'll put out more content. I'll be more consistent. Yes, you have to be consistent, but consistent doesn't mean quantity. Consistent means, like me, I do like, Wednesday, Saturday, and then this live stream. That's consistent every week. Sometimes I'll do, you know, I do at least one video a week in the live stream. That's consistent. If I can, I'll get out a Saturday. That's consistency. Consistency doesn't mean every day or 5 times a week. If you can do an everyday vlog or whatever, and that's your personality, more power to you. And that's awesome. But make sure that the quality of your video doesn't suffer. Because when I make a video, okay, I shoot it maybe 1 or 2 days, but then I'm editing for 2 or 3 days. So, like tomorrow, I'll start shooting a video tomorrow. And maybe start editing it tomorrow night. And then Tuesday, I'll finish up. And then finish it up Tuesday to put it out Wednesday. And that's my process. Now, if I sat there and record it Monday and then put it out Monday night, it would be horrible. Because it just wouldn't be finished. So, yeah. So you got to know, you know, it's quality. And the biggest thing I learned about YouTube, what your topic is not as important as your story and your personality. Your thumbnail, Nick Nimmin, I was watching his channel. If you're into YouTube, check out Nick Nimmin. But your thumbnail, you should take as much time editing your thumbnail as you do editing your videos. Your thumbnail is what grabs people. when people see you in the comments or whatever, I mean not in the comments, when people are watching a video and your stuff comes up on the sidebar and they see your thumbnail, they're like, wow, that looks awesome, I want to click on it. That and the titles. So they click on that thumbnail. But if they click on your awesome thumbnail and then you're like, hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Oh, let's get on to this. You know, you have to draw people in. You have to be, but the thing is, you have to be natural. You have to be sincere. You can't be like faking it. And I've watched a few guys talk about that. The whole YouTube happiness facade, where everyone comes off as they're always happy and they're always great and everything's always wonderful. And it's not true, because that's the best part about YouTube. You can take 24 hours or 5 hours, you know, how many hours you shoot, and you can cut the bad parts out and just make people see what you want them to see. You know, I go through depression like this last couple weeks. I didn't even upload because I was just in a rut. But I come on and I do a video, and I love doing videos, so I'm happy about it. I'm sincere about it. And actually, that's why I didn't do the live stream last week or put up a video, last Saturday or whatever, because I knew I couldn't deliver my best or good enough, you know? So it's like learning Kung Fu, just show up and learn something every time you, yeah, exactly. And it goes with anything, not YouTube. You always have to be learning, you know? That's one thing. Even after 30 years of playing music, I'm still learning music. Once you say I've mastered it, you might as well give it up, you know? That's the fun part, learning and showing what you've learned. So, I agree, man. It's like anything. You always have to be learning, always have to be expanding. But, so yeah, you have to be sincere when you do YouTube, and you have to be, you know, people have short attention spans. You know, when you come in, or when people come in, they'll be like, boom, and they'll give you maybe a minute. If they're not drawn in within that minute, they'll click away. And a lot of people think subs, you know, I need to get more subscribers. I need to get more subscribers. Subscribers really don't mean anything. It's view time, and it's how many views you get. Now, that's what I was talking about, the thumbnail. You do thumbnails, you'll get the clicks, so you'll get the views. But if people click and then click away, YouTube sees that as a bad video, and they won't promote your stuff. So, but anyway, so that's the whole rant about YouTube and people thinking consistency, because I see it all over the place. Man, I upload every day, but I'm not getting any subscribers. I upload every day, but, you know, I'm not doing this. This isn't working. I'm not going anywhere. But that's why. You're thinking too much of quantity and not quality. And I fell into the trap too. But that's the best part about this. When you start off your channel or whatever, it's going to be horrible. Just like anything. You know, anything you find that you like and you're starting it new, you're going to be horrible at. But the better you get, you know, the more fun it becomes. For me, I love learning. So the whole process of learning is almost as fun as actually completing. So I kind of get caught in that dichotomy of, man, do I want to keep learning, or do I want to just focus on making? You know, because that's the other thing. If you're watching YouTube videos and all this on learning stuff, you know, 80% of the times, and only doing it 20% of the time, you're not going to learn either. You always have to be working and expanding and trying. You know, even 50-50 is a pretty, where you're learning 50% of the time and you're working. You know, I've talked about this before. And that's one of the topics I learned, I remembered when my VFD went bad. People on these channels, on knife forums, on YouTube, they, you know, keyboard cowboys, they watch something and they think they know. So, you know, they watch 100 videos and they're like, oh, I know how to do this because I've watched it. But they never actually gotten out and done it. When my motor and VFD went bad, I got on some of my forums and I was asking people, And people were giving me all this advice and all this advice. And then it would come down to the question, well, has this happened to you, or have you been through this? Oh, no, 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 but I've seen this happen. You know, it's happened to my friend, or, you know, this guy I saw do it. And it's like, you just wasted 2 hours of my time explaining all this stuff, and you don't even know what you're talking about. You know, because I know electronics pretty good, and I know, you know, how to build things pretty good, but I don't know how. I know how a motor works, but I've never taken one apart and fixed it. And the VFD, I couldn't really troubleshoot it because I need an oscilloscope, because a VFD runs on a PWM pulse width modulator. So when I was trying to, if you saw in my last video, I pulled out the multimeter, but that doesn't tell you anything because it's a pulse width. With alternating current, it goes up and down like this. DC is straight. So you need an oscilloscope to hit on the three different, you know, the three different outputs to tell you how it's running, to get the true output. So me sitting there with a multimeter was pointless. So I didn't have the right tools to troubleshoot, but I had all these guys telling me, you know, do this or do that and do this. And it's like, I realized they were just, you know, just telling me things that they've seen. And I'll tell you what, 90% of the guys, even though I said it's a three-phase motor, said, check the capacitors. If you don't know about motors, a one-phase motor has capacitors. It's a startup capacitor and a run capacitor. When you click on the power, the capacitor kicks the motor over and gets it going. Just like the old times. If you took the capacitors out of your motor and you turned it on and you pulled the pulley, it would start running. So that's what the capacitor does. It kicks the motor in. But I specifically said my three-phase motor. Three-phase, that's the whole point of the three phases. You got them out of phase and they start the motor. And that's why in the video, when I started, you could see it running backwards and forward. That's the VFD putting out, you know, mixed signals. That has nothing to do with the motors. I explained that in the last video. And that was one thing, man, KB Electronics are awesome for taking it back and looking at it. But one thing that drives me crazy is people just do not. Yeah, Walter Soils is a good guy, but yeah, your first knife is going to suck. But people don't want to take accountability. I'm sorry, I'm kind of ranting here, because it's been a couple weeks since I've been on the live stream, so excuse me if I look over here and see someone reading, but, you know, people don't want to take accountability for their products. You know, when I first got on, he's like, oh, what kind of motor do you have? And I read it out, and it was like an eBay, you know, off-brand motor. And he goes, oh, that's the problem. Our VFDs aren't compatible with all motors. What are you talking about? It's a VFD. It puts out three-phase. The motor is three-phase. It takes in three-phase. How can that not be compatible? That makes no sense. And then he's like, oh, it's the motor, blah, blah, blah. And then he's telling me how to troubleshoot it, and everything he's telling me is things I've already done, and I told him up front what I did. But he's like, no, you got to go down, you got to do this. It's like, man, you're wasting my time. Listen, take accountability, say, oh, well, our VFD might be having a problem. Send it in. He wasted 2 hours of my time when he could have just said, send the VFD in and we'll check it. You know, but no, it's the motors. Your motors, you got two motors that are doing the exact same symptoms. It has to be the motor. Now, it could be the motor. You know, like I said, I didn't have the right tools to troubleshoot it, so it could be the motor. I mean, it could be the motor, but I don't know. I highly doubt it. Yeah. Can you tell I'm upset about that one? But like I said, you know, with December, with the last few live streams of bad audio and then the motor busting and all that stuff, I'll take that over like my mom being sick or me being sick any day. And December, you know, it's probably all built up in my head, which, you know, when you internalize something, you can project it outwards. So my whole fear of, oh, December's coming up, could have made everything just project out badly. So, but, or it's more enhanced because I'm like, oh man, this is why it's happening, you know. So, oh, whew, man. So, I hope everyone's gonna have a good. Let's hope next year. Let's hope next year is a good year. As you know, I'm complaining now because it's been a couple weeks, but man, I gotta say, this last year has been amazing. The way you guys support me and comment and you know, help me really inspires me to do more. And I really appreciate the support. And man, it's just awesome. So the last month might have been bad, but the 11 months building up to it were amazing. You know, the things I've learned, the people I've connected with, you know, a lot of you guys who come back every week, I actually feel like you're my friends. You know, I actually have discussions with you, and you know, I've made a connection with a lot of you, and it's an awesome feeling. So I've got to thank you for that. You know, I might put out the videos and all that, but you guys are the ones that help me come back by commenting and tell me, you know, oh man, I've said this before, but when someone comments and is like, man, I watched your video and now I've gotten over this hurdle, or I made my first knife because I watched your video, or I learned this because, man, that makes everything worth it. All the hours of editing, all the hours of shooting, it's all worth it. Yeah, I don't plan on quitting. That's for damn sure. I hope not. I mean, I really love it. Sometimes it can get discouraging, but usually when it gets discouraging, it's because I put too many expectations on myself. Like I said, I get caught up in like Gary Vee, or get caught up in, oh, I have to make it this way, or I have to have this many people watch or comment, or I have to have this happen. So I put this expectation on myself, and, you know, I let myself down, and I suffer from it. You know, I've talked about this, about the whole 1,000 goal thing. That you know, that might have been another contributing factor, because that happened like right in December. I hit 1,000 subs. And man, I've been working so hard this whole year. Man, I just need to hit 1,000 subs. And I hit it. And I was just stunned, like, man, so what now? You know, I've done it, so yay, you know, and it just didn't seem as exciting anymore. And that's when I realized chasing numbers is very counterproductive for me. Now, I see a lot of people out there that are very goal-oriented. You know, they set goals, and they achieve them goals, and they set higher goals, and they achieve higher goals. And their whole life is based on goals, and it works amazing for them. But I can't do that. I've never been a goal-oriented person. I'm a very driven person. I am a very, I love learning, and I love making things, and I love just putting it all together. But I've never been the kind of person that's like, okay, I'm going to make this by this time, and this has to be accomplished. Because my OCD gets to the point where I have to make it perfect. Instead of making it the best I can and doing a great job, I get caught up in perfection. Perfection, 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 perfection. And it slows down my progress, and then I don't meet that goal. Or I'm so, you know, I said before, I'm either up here or down here. So, you know, I hit that goal and it's like, wham! And then phew, the crash comes next, because it's like, all right, you know, the best part I could, in Batman or The Dark Knight, when the Joker's talking about being that dog that chases the car, he wouldn't know what to do if he ever got it. And, you know, that's how I am. If I set goals, once I catch it, then I'm disappointed. So, yeah, no more goals for me, just hard work, determination, and doing what I love. You know, and that's the other thing I learned about watching YouTube. I don't want, you know, being other people, are trying to make videos like other people or trying to be the personality of someone else is very counterproductive and doesn't work. That's awesome, Stalking Wolf. Yeah, yeah. I remember, because I think you were trying to learn how to heat treat the 5160. See? I got a good memory. Or I'm faking it. See? And that's, you know, I've also said that about watching me even. You know, just because I do it one way or it works for me, like knife making and everything, doesn't mean, you know, you should do it that exact way. Yes, take my pointers and take my advice, but don't do it exactly like I do. Like, it drives me crazy when people are like, hey man, can I have your design? Can you send me your design so I can make a knife? Now, I understand that, and, you know, it makes perfect sense. But, you know, there's so many ways to learn how to make your own designs. Go on knife forums. Even just Google custom knives. Find the blade design you like. Find the handle you like. Design your own, you know. Even if you have to trace it out. You know, by the time you make that design and start grinding on it, it'll become your own design. So, you know, that's my advice when people are like, can you send me your design? Because you don't want to make my knives. You want to make your knives. You know, you want to make your own things. And that's why I started a lot of those tests, like the whole Parks 50 versus McMaster car quench oil thing. Because everyone's like, oh, Parks 50 is the only quench oil you can use. You got to use Parks 50. Oh, you have to use this. And anytime I read forums or all that where people are like, you have to do it this way, I want to experiment to see if it can be done this way too. And that's where a lot of my videos stem from. When people are like, it has to be this way. Well, no, it has to be that way for you, you know. Because I'm going to do it this way. Because I'm stubborn. 1095 is a little tricky, but I'll tell you what, my first steel was 1095. And I told this to Chip, if you go to Harbor Freight and you buy yourself a it's called a weed propane torch. Hold on one second. It just happens to be right here. That's one thing I like about not wearing the lapel. It looks just like this. Now you're going to have like a barbecue propane tank, and you hook this up to it. One of my first videos are me using this. It's horrible quality and a horrible video, but I'm going to do a video. That's what I was talking about with the 01 and the 1084. I'm going to do a video on using this and how to use it. You know, I made this jig right here, you know, with the 2 holes, and this thing slides up and down. So wherever the hole is on your knife, you can attach it like this. And then you hold this. You also have to get a, let me see if I can find it. What I use, I don't see it here. But if you go to Home Depot or something, they have those magnets that are like on a telescoping thing. So you hold the telescoping magnet in the same hand like here. And then you torch it. But don't hold the torch on the knife straight, because then you'll either burn the tip or you got to flame it back and forth. You know, hit it like this, back and forth, evenly cook the knife. You might even want to flip it over. Sorry, my arm's messed up, so flipping's kind of hard, but yeah, flip it over, you know, evenly cook it, then hit it with the magnet, then do it. You don't want a strong magnet, because then the magnet will stick to it if it's not hot enough, and then you'll be fighting the magnet, and the knife will cool down, and you'll be fighting it, and whew, believe me. Excuse me. So yeah, you just hit it, keep it nice and smooth. Hit it. These are like 20 bucks. So you just keep hitting it, hit it, and when the magnet doesn't stick, that means you've reached critical, which is 1425. You want to hit it for like another minute. After you hit non-magnetic, you want to hit it another minute. Make sure your tip is not overheating though. If your tip is turning another color, then ease off the tip. You want to hit the magnet on all spots to make sure it's evenly, temperature corrected. And then 1095, you can use canola, and make sure it's right next to you and dip it right in the canola. I mean, go right from your non-magnetic, hold your torch up away so you're not burning yourself, and bam, right in the canola, and that'll put a fine heat treat on it. It'll work. .1084 is the best for that. 01 works too, but that's why I want to do the whole 01 test. See, 5160 is a great steel, but man, it's very temperamental because it's an air cooling steel. So if you're working on it and you heat it up, then all of a sudden it's hard. It's hard. Man, I've worked with stainless steels like AEBL and stuff that aren't as hard as 5160. So 5160 is a good steel if you've got, a good grinder or an oven to, that's the other thing. When you normalize 5160, it's not like, not normalize, when you anneal it, make it softer, it's not like other steels. Other steels you can heat up past to like 1500 and then just let them cool down and they'll be soft. With 5160, you have to have an oven, and you bring it up to 1500, and then you let it cool down to 1200 over an hour, and then let it cool down a little bit more. Then you stick it in vermiculite, and then it's really soft. Now, you can get it soft by heating it up and let it cool down, but not as soft as, what the data sheet says. So, but yeah, 1095 is a little tricky, and that's another thing you'll read or hear people say about 1095. You have to quench it fast. Okay, you got it to the hot, you have to quench it immediately. Which, yes, you need to quench it pretty fast, but don't make it dangerous. Take your time, heat it, and dunk it. If you're rushing and also, oh no, I'm going to cool off, you're going to spill the oil, you're going to have set fire to everything. Or just take your time and do it. It takes about 2 or 3 seconds, and if it doesn't get hard, do it again. But 1084, you can get a 2-inch by 24-inch piece of 1084 for like $20 from like Jantz or Alpha Knife or any of those guys. So 1084 is the way to go if you're starting out. 01 will work, but I don't want to say it will work perfect because I haven't done the test on it to see. But we started out with 01 and we had hard knives, so it will work. Oh yeah, thanks, Starky Wolf. Yeah, heat the canola. What I used to do is I'd take a railroad spike or a piece of steel, and you heat the steel to red, and then you dip that in the canola oil to heat it up. If you don't have a temperature gauge or something, this is what I want to, that's why I want to do the back to basics heat treating thing. Because, if you have a temperature gauge that you, or like a turkey baster that you can put in the oil, then that's awesome. But if not, yeah, just get a piece of steel, piece of mild steel, anything, scrap steel, heat it up to red and put it in the oil. And that will heat your oil up enough to where you can dip it. You can quench your steel. Thanks for that, Stalking Wolf. I almost forgot about that. Yeah. Good call, good call. See, that's why I need you guys around to help me with stuff like that. That torch is also, a lot of guys use it for like roofs, when they're putting down flat roofs with tar and stuff. So, but it's called a weed-eating torch. If you go on Harbor Freight, they're like $18. They have them on Amazon and all that, but they're like $50 on Amazon. So just go to Harbor Freight, get the cheap one. If you're in another country, I don't know what the equivalent to Harbor Freight is. I know Canada, they say Princess Auto or something, but Yeah, it's just called a weed torch. Oh, man. So, I think that's about it for this video, for this year. Man, I've said it like 4 times, but I can't thank you guys enough for the support. For you guys showing up every week, you know, commenting. Yeah, it just blows my mind, you know, the inspiration I get from this. You know, tomorrow or today I'm going to take that 1 horsepower grinder and our motor and hook it up to my grinder and get on that O1 video and, you know, other stuff. So, yeah, December's over. Time for a new year, a new start, and let's hope it's as good as last year. Up until deleting December. Alright, I gotta do this, but shirts like this are down below in the link. I got like 2 knives, maybe 3 knives for sale on my website, which is down in the link below. All my Amazon affiliate stuff, like the cameras I use, this camera, you know, all that stuff you can buy. And if you go through Amazon, it actually gives the channel a kickback, but doesn't cost you any extra money. So, you know, it'll really help out if you check out those Amazon links and all that. I hope you guys have a happy new year. And I hope to see you on Wednesday with a new video. Man, thank you, thank you, thank you. The support, man, it's awesome. I can't stress it enough. So, I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great day. And as always, take it easy. Haha, yeah, man.